Hey guys, did you miss me? Over the next few videos, I'm going to teach you some of the basics of science stuff. Science is the root of everything cool. It's how you do art, it's how you cook in your home, it's how you take care of your kids, and it's how you do magic and all sorts of cool stuff. So, I'm going to teach you some of that. You can tell a mixture and a solution apart visually. You don't have to be able to feel it, taste it, smell it. Not that you really want to taste anything when you're using chemicals or science. But a lot of the science stuff that I'm going to teach you is going to involve things that you would cook in your kitchen. For instance, a mixture would be like a salad, where you can see lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, cheese, whatever you put in your salad. You can see all the individual pieces in there. Whereas a solution would be like mashed potatoes when you blend them all together. There might be salt and butter and garlic and all sorts of stuff in there, but when you look at it, you're not going to see any of that. Another example would be salt water. If you look at salt water, you can't see the salt floating around in it, but if you look at the ocean, you might see bits of seaweed and shells and things like that floating around in it. So, I'm going to show you a few examples here, and I want you to kind of think to yourself whether or not you think that is a mixture or a solution. So, this right here is food coloring and water. So if you look at it very closely, you can actually see that you can see right through it. You can't see any of the little spots of color. It all mixes together real nice and smooth. So this is a solution. This is beads in water. Now the beads aren't going to disintegrate into the water because the beads are much stronger. You would have to have extreme heat in order to make these beads melt. So this will stay a mixture. This right here is sugar water. So now if you've combined these two right here, you're going to end up with some Kool-Aid, right? Now this right here is another example of a solution. You can see right through it. You can't even tell that there's sugar in it, so until you take a sip of it, and it's real strong. Now this is a mixture. It is noodles in water. Now the thing with something like this is that the noodles, if you actually boiled them long enough, would eventually disintegrate into the water, whereas the beads here, you would have to hit extreme temperatures. This you just have to forget on the stove, and then it gets way too soft and it's gross, right? So sometimes you can have a mixture that turns into a solution, but certain things will never mix together. When you reach the temperatures that you would need to reach in order to melt these beads, that water is going to disintegrate right off. So I'm going to show you an example here. Something super cool that will have a mixture and a solution, and it'll show you the way that things mix together and the way that things definitely don't. So this right here was food coloring, right? Now when you put food coloring in water, it will create a solution. But if you put food coloring in vegetable oil, it will not. It will create a mixture. Now, oil doesn't mix very well with anything other than other kinds of oils. So, if I take this, I can put some little drops of food coloring in there, and they will stay in those little spheres. I can put a few different colors. And it will stay. Now, we know that the food coloring mixes with water. So once the food coloring is in the oil here, we can take this larger jar, fill it with water, Doesn't have to be a specific amount. And then we can take the oil mixture and pour it in. Now eventually, when these little droplets of food coloring sink down through the oil, as soon as they touch the water, they want to combine. The way that chemicals work is that the ones that get along want to be together. So as we are watching this mixture sit, you can see the food coloring seeking out the water and trying to create a solution. As the drops of the food coloring hit the water from the bottom of the oil, you can see them spread throughout, bursting through the water to create an even solution. Something that you can do to speed up the process of creating a solution is to do what is called agitating. So in order to agitate, you can stir, mix, swirl the liquid around in the glass. You'll notice that as I'm mixing this solution right here, the oil still does not combine in with the rest of the liquid. There are other more intense measures that you can take to make a mixture into a solution, such as adding heat, like we talked about with the noodles, where if you boil them long enough, they will liquefy and create one substance.